Welcome everybody to our homecast. As you see, we have upgraded. We're now sitting in the couch.
We now got a cold. Before we, yeah, okay.
So tonight is one of my favorite topics. Everything is energy.
You have probably heard that phrase somewhere at some point, but do you really know what that means? Like when you say everything's energy, do you know what that means?
Of course, I know. Do you? So when we say everything is energy, it means everything. So if you zoom in our body, it is found to be 99.9% empty space.
She memorized this correct.
I knew already because I have studied before. So the only difference is that the energy vibrates in a different frequency, speed, and therefore it seems that some things are solid.
Or since they are actually not in movement, but is in actual movement because the speed so fast that you're incapable of seeing it with your true eyes.
Yes.
So the feeling, like people would say, oh, it's not moving at all, but it's moving because it's moving so fast that you are not able to see it.
And it has been found that people that have been gone to the moon bring it back to study the material, and they found that the same things are the same matter are found in the trees, and the same matter in the trees are found in us as well. So we are made of the same. We have our DNA, our genes.
Everything is energy, like our brain waves, our body, our heartbeat, our nerves, because of our electrical impulsive nerves, like everything transmits a signal.
Yes.
Everything is energy. Even our own words, like all words, they send the energy, and you can measure the level of energy of the word that you speak by using one of the ways is using the Hawkes method of measurement. Measure the energetic vibration of pretty much everything. Like a simple cup of water, like you can measure like the energetic vibration of that water with kinology or Hawkins method that I forgot, but we'll put it down here somewhere. That's just proving, like it's being proven by different scientists in the physical quantum world, that everything, pretty much everything, from the water you drink, from the food you eat, from the words you say, from
your feelings,
from the emotions you feel, that everything is sending an energy to a center of the universe.
So they're talking about the layers of human energy. I really like to go a bit deeper on this topic because recently I had an insight of kind of how everything is formed within us. So as we saying now, everything vibrates our energy. When we're talking, it is from the energy transmitting the sound that you can hear through the webs of all connections. They're vibrating, like we know Wi-Fi, right? There is no connection, but it is there, the connection. So when we are very little from the womb of our mother, carry from the past, this energy that's being stored in our consciousness. And as we start to grow, we learn from our environment, right? So we learn to perceive our environment according to everyone that's surrounding us. So let's say if you come from a family or environment that would not be able to process emotions, instead you store emotion, which I feel like is for everyone, right? We grew up in a society where we have to behave, we have to go meet at that time, like going to school this time and finish this time and be good at school. So we learn the whole environment, the whole learning process and environment through the energy vibrations, right? So if you learn to store this energy within you, then it is stored within you. What I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to feelings, that's our feelings, not someone else to blame for your feelings. Layers and layers of those stored energy vibration that we talk about, guilty, anger, fears. So all is that is kind of giving a name to the energy field within us.
Yeah, which is basically the emotion. But talking about those layers, I would like to break down here, like the physical, about the physical energy. There would be, like mentioned before, our heartbeat, brain waves, electrical impulsive nerves, and the emotional, which is another type of energy, it would be fear contracts, joy expands. Emotions literally like shifts the rhythm of your heart, of your own heartbeat, and every emotion that you have has a specific transmission of energy, like we said before. Mental thoughts also have energy, and it's amazing that we take that for granted most of the times. But your thoughts have electrical patterns measurable by EEG. So it's quite like it's proven. It's not that we are just saying they're out of our minds. And spiritual consciousness, intuitions, archetypes also has a transmission of energy.
So from my learnings is that all those energy that are stored within us have their own intelligence. So as
And some of them you can even feel in your body. Sorry. to
it
interrupt you.
is, you can feel.
So, for example, if you feel stressed, that stress is gonna send a message to your body. So that what you feel in your body in response of that stress is energy. It's a form of energy.
Yes, and then those energy emotions that are perspective of the emotion. So if let's say a fear, if you hold fear within yourself, a lot of fear, you're gonna perceive your world as a place of fear. So you constantly be watching over what your things to be stolen or anything. So being aware of how you perceive the world, so you don't get caught up on the illusion of the emotion, it's very important. So just when you know that it's your feelings is not actually the reality, is a perception of the feeling.
Is the perception is based on your own energetic system.
Yes, it's like we call consciousness level.
Yeah.
So there is different levels of consciousness, and everyone perceives different because there are many different energy vibrations and densities. When we try to understand that, we are aware of and question: is that how I'm perceived? Is that the actual truth, or is the interpretation of my own emotion? So then becomes like a question to ourselves and start to be truth to our own feelings. And I found that when I learned that, I learned to communicate better with people. Like if something happens, I acknowledge that's my feelings, nothing with the person. So when I'm gonna talk to the person, I was like, oh, this situation made me feel this way, instead of blaming that person for how I felt. But it is acknowledging that feeling within, because sometimes if you don't acknowledge, you get stuck on the loop of that feeling, and it seems to be keep you coming back, and then you get stuck on a loop. So it's very important to acknowledge the feeling, and then if you have to express it, there's many ways to express it.
So, like for example, what scale in the Hawks table would you think that the word love has? But not only on his table, like pretty much every single quantum physics will measure like the word love quite high.
Yes,
Because it's a word with a high frequency.
because
So a high positive, if you have to label here to clarify, it's a high positive level frequency. Whether the word hate to be like a low
frequency, yeah.
negative frequency.
I think guilt is
However,
the bottom.
however, both words are on the same scale of energy, but one is sitting in another end of the other side, if that makes sense. So love and hate, they're pretty much the same because they're the same level of energy.
Because love, when we come to embrace our feelings and accept them, that's bringing love.
Yeah.
Accept everything. So accept every feelings without resisting, without neglecting or separating as this is negative, I don't want to feel it. So I just keep trying to seek for the good feelings. So when you come on a scale of, that's why love is in a high scale, because you start to accept, feel those feelings, and because you're feeling them, you transform them. So that's the way you start to raise your conscience level by being aware of those feelings that's yours within yourself. You feel them, and therefore they transform into love, and then you start to expand.
Raise your frequency.
Yeah, because you start to expand perspectives, right? But it is important to be aware that the feeling you have within have its own intelligence, and will send you thoughts that it is interpreting the feeling. You will use people in situation that's current in your life to get you hook up and feed more to that feeling. So if you keep on that energy, you're just feeding more until it's full and go to other feelings. But when you're aware, you don't get caught up with the thoughts, you go straight to the feeling, whatever it is in your body, the sensations it is in your body, so we can dissolve or dissipate. And that's when we call it healing, a healing process. It is being with that feeling, so you break through of that limited perception from that feeling that's being stored within you. Could be from your childhood, could be from another event you have during your teenager time that you didn't process, you had to hold it in. It could be from previous life, like from family.
But I do think that it's important to mention with that even though that you might release whatever you hold that energy with you, when you release that does not mean that it's released once, like one and forever.
No, there's layers and layers.
Because there are layers and layers and layers attached to that emotion or to that energetic center of beliefs that might be attached to all the beliefs, and then when you look at it from a closer angle, you see there is a system of beliefs that are all hold tied together.
Yes.
And requires a more of a deeper work, and sometimes like even a longer work. And I think that it's it's a work that you do for as long as you are here?
Yeah, I would say so. It's something that probably have to work through for life. It's like if you go to the gym, you do meditation or healing work as a practice, because I've noticed that it is the nature of the human to kind of avoid, store certain things and certain energy within, because again we learn from our family. It could be that it is a natural thing of people's pleasing, and therefore you end up not talking what you feel, what you're feeling, so then you're storing that within you. So it could be like a learning mechanism that you're already born with it. So that's why when we come to spiritual practice, it's something that we do daily in a way to process that and not have to keep storing, or I guess exploding in someone else. And
Well, even if you don't want to call it like spiritual practice, you could call it like just a tool of personal development, like
Yes.
a tool to get to know yourself.
yes.
But I would like to bring something that is a little bit controversial, but I did watch a video and I personally found that was quite amazing. There was for Dr. Masaru Emoto, where he did an experiment with water, like it was like vases with water, and then he would expose like those little containers, glass of waters with like very positive and love word, like high vibration words, and another batch he would expose like with very low frequency word, and there was like the water start like to build like beautiful crystals, very very beautiful crystals. And I know there's controversial because some people think that that's not true, but I prefer to believe that that's the truth based on everything that I have been like study and see it. I do believe that that's possible, because I guess I think it's the environment that those glasses like was exposed, it was environment of love, and it was like a very high frequency that made the water, which has its own vibration, to create a beautiful thing from the beautiful environment that it was on.
And I would like also to raise the fact that I feel that the society is always aiming to, oh, you need to be positive, you need to be positive, and naturally with that belief, I found that we instantly run away from the negative feeling, and kind of resist that, not to look, because I'm talking from my own perspective, that I found that I don't want to be that person that talks about negativity or negative things, and then turn a kind of a back against it. Like I don't want to look at you and trying to focus on a positive, but then you're kind of neglecting a part of yourself. I found that it is important to acknowledge that both existing within us.
Like on a daily basis, like a humans, like dealing with day-to-day life, like wild rise or lower our energy levels, where you can feel all of your emotions in your body, like in your energy center. Emotions, gratitude lifts, resentment drains, thoughts, hopeful versus hopeless. That's quite a strong one, because I know that the hopeful is a feeling that can rise your level of energy, but
Yeah.
when you're feeling hopeless, that's totally like your energy levels drop and you physically feel that. And that's what we are saying about like the emotions and the energies, how they are connected, because you feel in your body. Like, so the emotion, if you can name it, the emotion, even if you cannot name it, but you can pretty much know how you're feeling and you feel the response to that feeling on your body.
Yeah, I think it's that brings again the awareness, right? Because when I feel that I'm going down on my emotional level, I can observe the thoughts that are coming with it. And if you engage with the thoughts, then it will take longer, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of going back to your body and feeling. Because as soon as you start to feel it without any labeling the story in your mind, what's going on there in your thoughts, it goes. It passes.
Yeah. And I think it's back to that integration that if your body, thoughts, and feelings are aligned, because you are aware of what's going on, you do rise your vibration, because that this combination is powerful. Like when you have those things aligned, it's quite powerful and stable.
So it comes back to the connection with your body. So and then the presence, being present and aware of what's going on around you on the external, because there's a reflection. So whatever it is happening on the external that you're interpreting is a mirror of what's going on within you, within ourselves. So having that knowledge, it brings us back to ourselves and our feelings, and we own them, we take responsibilities for them, and then it's not others' responsibility for our own feelings, and no one to blame for it. So take responsibility for your own feelings, acknowledge, accept, embrace it with love, and you raise your frequency.
Yeah, and there are like two physics that I like the work, and I would like to recommend them by bringing the codes into this today's episode. And one of them is Deepak Chopra. He says, consciousness is the common ground of existence that differentiated into space, time, energy, information, and matter. Matter is a dense energy. Matter is a word that has a dense energy frequency. So,
Yeah.
and Amit, if you allow me, Amit Goswami, it's another physics, quite like, his work is really good. He says quantum physics is the physics of possibilities. You choose everything you experience from those possibilities.
So it is, we are author of our own lives.
Yeah.
And we don't have control.
But we don't have control. We are the authors, but we don't have the control.
Yeah, because we don't have control what other people think, what other people say. We don't have control of those things. But we ourselves have control of our own emotions and how we can do with them.
Yeah.
So then we don't become, if you want to be the victim, that's fine, go for it. If you want to be the judge, the one that judge that one,
Just say that be the victim and lower your frequency. And
So-
be the judge too. Being
yeah,
a judge really lowers your frequency because you're not here to judge.
yeah. So it's all. So the only things basically we have control is what we do with those feelings and how we can manage them and transform them ourselves. So it's depending. It's up to everyone how long they want to stay on those feelings.
I think that, sorry Anna, but I think that, I don't know if the right word would be up to everyone, because I do know that processing emotion takes time.
Yes.
Takes time, so and sometimes it can be a whole damn bad, and let's be honest, that's fine.
Yes.
You know, like if you don't have like 3 years old running around the house, then you have to be after it. But, and if you need to be on bed, like to process the emotion that you're feeling, be on bed, process the emotion that you're feeling. If you need to pick up the phone, reach out for a friend, pick up the phone, reach out for a friend on a safe space. But it's just understanding that that emotion needs to be felt in a way that you can dissolve it and
Yeah.
release.
Transform that into love energy.
So let's make it practical to our listeners. to all our thousands of listeners. How can you raise your vibration? If you could give them tips, like what would be the tips of how they could rise the vibration?
I instantly, when I see that I'm going down, I focus on my breathing. I connect with my whole body. I bring my focus to my whole body from the top of my head and going down to my feet, and then just breathe and focus on the air coming in and out through my nose, feeling my lower lungs, because that's where we get the most air.
So no, all of us. That's good that you brought that. So
Yes.
some of us is on the chest,
Mm.
and others are on the solar plexus, like on the sign.
Mm.
Yeah, like on my case is on the chest. Is where I'm gonna feel most of my emotions on my chest.
Yeah.
But in your case, it's on the.
Is in the lower lungs to calm down. That's just a few breath to ground myself. Then I'll breathe normally after, but then to breathe in my lower lungs to feel my tummy and relax. Having that relax, allow yourself and your body to relax, because the emotions can bring a lot of tensions on your body, and you feel and then you bring the breathing into, you start to feel that your body is relaxing, and the whatever sensations is dissipating and transforming. That it is one of
Yeah,
my
wow.
first instant thing that I do when I start noticing that all the emotions and stressing are coming. So that's my first, when I'm at work or in a situation that I cannot do anything else. Then there's other options, which is move your body, go for a walk, dance, shake.
They go for a walk. To be a simple thing as take off your shoes and walk like barefoot on the grass. Like that really helps you to ground, because brings that energy through your foot chakras and can release a lot of tension. Like you might not notice at the time that you're talking because your mind will be racing, but it's very, very helpful
Yes.
and proving to be very efficacious.
Yeah, I did read the other day that also being by the ocean can help regulate your emotions.
That's my one. I'm lucky enough to work very close to the beach, not even like 5 minutes walk. And every time that I start to feel the emotions that I cannot name, like I cannot, what I think that is gonna like, it's overwhelming, it's becoming overwhelming. I get up and I go straight to the beach and I sit there and just like looking at the ocean and not seeing the end of it just like calms me and grounds me back to my center, and I have that amazing, and then I'm overwhelmed by that amazing feeling of gratitude to be where I am and like on a beautiful space and encounter with the nature, and it's just so powerful.
Yes, yeah. Practice gratitude is very
Yeah.
important. But again, like it's always being aware. Practice gratitude is actually meaning that you're grateful. Sometimes I notice that myself. Gratitude, but then you have still that feeling like lingering there, the anger, this, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Oh, there is the emotions attached to that, because you're just like I'm grateful, but there is not the emotion actually boosting.
I honestly find that like it's one of my main things in my life is my emotions, because that changed everything I do, right? If your emotion, I can't, like if I, all these emotions within me, the productive, down. Focus,
But if they
down.
are low vibration emotions, right? Because
Yes,
when
yes,
they are
yes.
like high frequency emotions, like joy,
Yes.
the best thing is when you're doing something that you love and there is that feeling
For
of
sure.
joy.
Yeah, for sure. That's but
It's one of the best emotions that one can feel.
yeah, and then I hope like these videos are very useful to those that are listening, because we do so much work on ourselves, because well, I tell you why it's important doing these emotional healings, because otherwise you get triggered all the time, right, by situations, and when you start to do this emotional healing, um, then you slowly start to notice the things that used to trigger you doesn't trigger anymore. If you, like, for example, sending an email, like for me was like sending out emails. If I noticed that I made a mistake, I would like panic. Like I literally would panic, and I was like, call myself names. No, I wanted to fix, and I was like, how do I fix this? And nowadays, if I did, I was like, oh, okay, you know.
Happens.
It is happening. So this is a simple example, but could be many things about being late on a meeting, or if somebody's late on a meeting, like you don't get, oh my god, the person arrived late, or look at, you don't get those triggers. You just accept the things as they are, and that's the beauty of it, because I found it's very powerful, not being dragged by your own feelings
Yeah.
along the.
No matter what they are, like I
Yes.
said before, even like if it's grief, like if you feel the grief and be honest that feeling that
Yes.
you are feeling, because it's real, it's great thing.
Yes.
That also rises your energy. The important thing is not to suppress it.
Yes.
It's not to trying to lie to yourself that you are not having their emotions, because by suppressing it, lower your frequency. But by feeling it,
Because
you
you
expanding your
yes.
energy field
Because if you suppress it, you store it
in
within
your
yourself.
body somewhere.
Yeah, and then in a long term in your life, who knows? It might be later on with because you store in part of your body. Like each emotion has their own part in your body, and it could be that later on you have knee problem, or I don't know,
Any kind of problem.
any kind of, it start to develop in your physical body, because you store that for so many times, like for so many situations you keep storing within yourself. So you not only lower your whole being energy, but you also could manifest in your physical body. So it's very important to take the time to process those feelings, feel them. Like a lot of people run away and they distract themselves with TV or drinking or whatever is out there, when really it is kind of an intentional moment that you could just sit with yourself for half an hour at the end of the day, and allow those feelings to just be felt and let them go without attachment. So yeah, meditate is another thing that I do daily, quite a lot, to be honest. As much as I see myself with the free time, I'm meditating. It's my goal thing, and I guess other thing is surround yourself with uplifting people in nature. I guess like if you live alone like myself, sometimes those emotions can be quite intense. So I have my friend here that helps me to get out of the illusion of the emotion. And
I also think that those things could be like rising of frequency could be as simple as doing things that you like. As simple as reading a nice book that will bring you joy.
yes,
Or even watching like a movie that will bring you joy. Like in my case, I love watching like love stories, but like clean love stories. Like clean, there's no complex relationships, like very easy, that rise, that you feel the love in your own heart. Because I do it, I feel like that you turn off your TV and you be like, oh my god, like you're sending love to everyone. You're even like hugging the wall and kissing it, because that's the amount of love that energetic will send it to you from that movie, or from the book, or from the music that you listen to. So there are like, because I understand that not all of those habits will be on everyone else's life. Like there are people that are totally new to meditation, you know, but there's all the simple things that we can be doing, like to rise the frequency, to not to let us to be stuck on that feeling, on that emotion, or to be
In the
like
loop.
in the loop.
I know, because some of the emotions and feelings can really be dense and kind of trying to keep you there.
And your mind will always be telling one story. Like
Oh,
we
yes.
will always be telling one story.
Yeah.
Like so you hold on to that emotion for as long as possible. As long as your mind keep telling one story and as long you engage with that, more you're gonna hold on to that emotion and feeling. So I do feel this is a topic that we could like do, I think, more and more episodes on this, because it's just so many different perspectives, so many physics perspective, like to bring it on with proving experiment behind it that shows how everything has an energy, that everything like is in movement, like in the dimension, time and space. That is just amazing. I don't think we haven't even like covered like 2% of it, to be honest, because the topic is so extensive and is so deep with knowledge that I even told Anna to have like a whiteboard and would do that.
I
And
did
would
that
do
to
like
I did that to a friend at work, and then he really understood what I was saying. So that was
yeah, because you did say I'll get a whiteboard.
I was so
will
excited,
draw
but
it,
then
and,
they passed because I thought I
because she wants to do that in another episode, but it was another topic, you know, like that has to be to the energy topic, but that's that's energy.
and
But yes, but I do feel like maybe we'll go back with this topic, like can you?
yeah, I would like to share something to be aware when you're meditating, because obviously we have if people that meditate notice that the thoughts keep just floating around, right? And then you have the gap between the thoughts, and that gap between thoughts, that's who you are. So if you when you're meditating, of course you're connecting with your body and just observing the thoughts without attachment, and then keep on that gap, between thoughts, because that's who you are. Neither the engagement on the happy thoughts, because we do tend to go daydreaming when you have all those beautiful thoughts, but the trick part is that if you hang on to those beautiful dreaming thoughts, you're also gonna hang on the negative one, because the mind doesn't know the difference. So if you
doesn't know what's real, what's not.
yeah, exactly. So if you really want to not be stuck on the negative feelings, you must also learn to let go of those beautiful thoughts, because both of them is attachment, right? So you need to learn to let go of the attachment on the good thoughts as well, and then trust that whatever you manifest in your life, if you have something that you want to manifest, it is gonna happen, and not be in that daydreaming, because really the mind doesn't know the difference. So if you're attached to the good, when it comes to the not so good or negative, we will also be attached. So when you're on a meditation, it's important to bring the awareness of, this is amazing thought, I want to keep it thinking about it, and no, you let it go. You let it go and let it go. Let all the thoughts comes. As soon as it rise, you let it go. It rise, you let it go. And how you do that? You again focus on your body, on your breathing, on that gap between thoughts, not on the thoughts itself. So then you're learning to be detached. It's just an experience of good feelings and not so good feelings, but they're all only part of experience, and they'll help you, I guess, maneuver easier in your life. You're still gonna have difficult times, but you start to learn to process those emotions more, navigate through without attachment and hanging for too long on one or another. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much. And until next time.